So the thing is, somebody wanted me to make a video about the reason why so many guys are going overseas losing their life. And the funny part about this is that traveling with Paul, O'Shea Du Jackson, and all these anti-passport bros are not going to talk about the white guys that shoot porn overseas. I mean, there's a whole market of white men going to Colombia, Cuba, Africa, Kenya, and they're shooting these girls and their faces all out there. The dude's face is covered up, but the woman's face is not. Remember the French guy that went overseas and had sex with all the women and gave all those African women diseases? Remember him? I mean, let's I wanna I forgot his name. There's African women. There's African women. There was an African woman that was waiting 60 years for a white guy to come back. And she waited she waited almost 50 years for a white guy to come back to her, and the white guy never came back. So, ask yourself, why is it white guys can go overseas and have as much sex as they want, pay for play, and bang out every African, every Colombian, every Thailand girl, every Filipino, every woman they can. But black guys go overseas showing their shit. It's a problem. Now the block is hot because of them. Right? Isn't it funny? You know why? Because the white guys pay. The white guys pay the locals. The white guys pay the cops. The white guys, before they even touch down, they're paying everybody to keep them safe and give them value. Black dudes are cheap. They don't think that they need to pay to go overseas. And they don't think they need to be friends with anybody there in order to survive. See, there's a reason why a whole bunch of people surviving every single day in bad neighborhoods, bad countries, and bad locations. It's because they're not seen as a threat. They're not associated with the wrong people. And the right people don't want them going. You know how many people would be pretty much eliminated if they made so many enemies? There's a reason why some of these guys come online and they don't go in real life. Because they made too many enemies and they can't go to certain places anymore. It's funny that none of the anti-passport guys are never talking about the white guys going overseas shooting porn at all. Right? They only talk about black dudes. And then you ask these guys, I asked these guys multiple times, what's the point of this? What's the point of, you think this gonna stop, or are you just trying to shame them? And the dude was like, well, I'm just trying to bust the bubble and tell that they're selling lies. I'm like, well, then what are you selling? If you're selling lies, you're selling what they left from overseas. So what you're trying to sell doesn't work for them. And you're trying to tell them what to do. Oh, no, I'm not, man. I'm just going to expose them. I'm like, how about if they get you in a corner and 18 of them guys come with machetes and guns and ambush you? Would you beg for your life, or would you die with honor? And he like, oh, that would never happen. Like, dude, you don't even know that it won't happen. Right? A lot of guys don't talk. A lot of these guys who go overseas talking about they making businesses, this ain't America. You're going to have to pay people off. Because there's guys that have stories of them going to buying property and the people coming to their property and stealing their shit because they didn't pay the right people off to protect them. These countries, they move different ways. Just like here, you pay people off discreetly here. Bribes are discreetly here. But overseas, bribes are in your face. You pay to stay. But these guys who are so anti-tricking and all this other stuff, even if they are quote-unquote tricks, these guys think they can just go to the women and the women will not do nothing to them because they got that swag and they end up dying. Right? Because Justin Slayer, a porn star, went to Brazil multiple times. He didn't get robbed, didn't get stuck up scopolamine. How's it that all these other guys go to these countries and don't get scopolamine? Because they build a relationship and they quote unquote check in. They speak with the local street representatives to gain permissions to move around freely in their respective local area. That's what most people do. And if they want to live there, they got to build a rapport. Because in these countries, protection money is an everyday thing. People get killed every single day. Life is cheap in some of these countries. Even first world, quote unquote, countries overseas is cheap. You think that people ain't paying money for people? The taxes alone is taxes itself is a extortion racket. So it's a nice way of extorting money from people. So you have to pay to play. You pay for luxuries over here, in America. Video game is a luxury. The movies is a luxury. All the shit you pay for, but you don't want to pay to go to another person's country. The funny thing about this is that the guys who run their mouth talking about how guys going paying, they paying to stay in these countries. That's why they allowed them run their mouth and talk about that. Because I bet you, if these guys got in the way of the sex tourism and the prostitution stuff, these guys would be knocked off easily. They'd be killed. That's the reason why some of these guys don't talk about shit like this in Mexico. There's a reason why these guys don't talk about like this in the gangs and shit like that. Because they'll get checked. But the guys who getting killed overseas, a lot of them don't have nobody to help them, guide them away from the shit. Some people probably guided them. I mean, they wanted to do it anyway. It's a mess here. It's a mess in this country with the women, but it's even a more mess because the women are a lot better looking and they're more dangerous. They will give you the vagina. You could smash them 8 times. You could smash them 8 times. But guess what? The 9th time, you get that scopolamine. People don't understand that some of the times that scopolamine works only when you actually wore out. Scopolamine don't work 100% when you actually function. It will knock you out, but it won't kill you. A lot of these people, they don't know how to do the mixture to knock people out. They just kill people. And what's not being told, that a lot of these women who killing tourists, they end up missing or end up getting killed. Because they were just supposed to rob the tourists, not kill them. So, let's show. So, I don't know why this here, but not why here, right? So, look at the market share of the 15 online porn producing nations. United States is 24%. United Kingdom is 5%. Germany is 4%. Brazil is 4.80%. France, Russia, Canada, India, Italy, Spain, Netherlands, Turkey, Poland, and Australia. These are the places that produce porn. Us having the most money and we can produce all that shit. But all these other countries produce porn. So why we never heard about the underground racket of men, white men, shooting porn? I can look for the guys that are traveling overseas, because there's so many videos out here of white guys going overseas. These guys would look like an incel here, and they're going overseas banging girls in Philippines, no problem. Why they not getting scoldamine and getting killed, right? So it's just black guys. No, because these guys are paying everybody. He even said the dude that went and had a cocaine bender with all of these prostitutes that he had, it was in Reddit, but they took it off. He paid 8 people. 1 to find the girls, 1 to make sure that no cops come around, 1 to know the places, and he kept paying some of these people. He paid a whole bunch of people to protect him so nothing happens to him. And he didn't pay that much. He paid like $500 to protect him. And he had spending money. He had about at least 16 grand on him. A lot of guys see it as better choices to pick from than being here. Get with a fat, overweight, unattractive girl who's overhyped. So a lot of guys, a lot of dudes don't have real value. That's the reason why a lot of these guys get killed overseas. They don't make themselves valuable to the local as a source of keeping them alive, but also keeping their money. Now, sometimes people get greedy. Like in the Philippines, I think when the Philippines, I said the story on one of my community posts or whatever. A couple got killed because ex-police officers set them up, and they was gonna buy a property. They killed them, and they all got arrested because they didn't want to wait for the money to be produced there. And the whole place suffered, right? A lot of people don't bring real value to the places they got. They're told that they got charisma. They told that they are the best guy in the world. They told that their dick can make women do somersaults. But these dudes still get scoldamine. These dudes still get set up and robbed. Because they never made themselves, they don't really have no value to themselves. The guys that I know who travel, some guys go over there for pay for play. They don't get set up. You know why? Because they make sure they valuable. They make sure everybody likes them. They make sure that people look out for them. Hey, tap them on the shoulder. Yo, don't pick that girl. You want to go? You choosing a girl? No, don't pick that girl. She dangerous. The other girls over there, get with them. Those girls, they set guys up. He told me straight away. Guys will let certain guys get set up and get whatever because they don't know them. But once you get to know some of the guys, they gonna have your back. And even some of the women who like you gonna have your back. They're gonna get you away from the most dangerous women because they want to see you again. So now you know that it ain't as dangerous as these guys say it is. It's the fact that these guys are fucking cheap and they don't want to pay. They don't want to pay for protection, and they don't want to check in with the guys. They don't want to check into another country because that happens in every city. Some people come to a new city all the time and they step into certain locations they're not supposed to be in, and something happens. But if they basically paid somebody or knew somebody in that area, it protects them. So, like Timothy Reed. Remember back in 2021 when Timothy Reed went over to Colombia, started kicking people out? Guess what happened? He got killed. If he would have went over there, checked in, made sure everybody was cool, checking some better source, he would have known that the whole thing was a setup to take his money. It can happen here. It can happen anywhere. You got to pay attention to the rules and you got to pay to play. And a lot of black dudes, the one thing wrong with black society in general, they think that they don't have to pay. JEWs pay for their power. Chinese pay for their power. White people definitely pay for their power. Every single race pay for their power. Black people think they don't have to pay for their power. They don't have to pay for their image. They could just act good and be nice. No. You pay for your image. You promote yourself out there. And then the world will come and take it in. Not just movies, but other things. They see you a good person. Hey, black people are good. They pay us. Keep them safe. The white people, keep them safe. Those guys, keep them safe. They pay us. These passport players, the Austin Holloman types, all these other guys, the Floyds. I don't even know where Floyd is because you ain't hear him. Those guys are cheaply people. And they go in people places and they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Even in America, there's places you can't go. There's areas that you can't go unless you know somebody in that area. You go by yourself, you end up getting messed up. In an area, you go into a new area, even a good area, people will be watching the shit out of you unless you know somebody in that area. It works. That's universally. It works universally. You got to know somebody to be there.
Battery level is 50%.
Or pay to be in that area. So a lot of these guys, the unfortunate things happen is because these guys are cheaply and they think they can just walk into another country because they're black and they got money. No, money makes you a target. You have to make yourself valuable to these people so they don't want to do nothing to you. Hey, don't do nothing to this guy. He cool.